Hey, I'm Valerian, hopefully your new cycling buddy. And this is my introduction video to this channel. In this introduction video, I will tell you about my journey, how I went from 350 pounds to today, which I'm approximately 195, without using any product, without using any medication. It was a very long and hard journey. But this is not about weight loss, this channel, absolutely not. I just want to share my experience. How did I started to cycle? If you stay until end of this video, which most likely going to be long because I like to ramble, I can tell you how can you win coffee. So what is my background? Since 12 or 13, I remember being always chubby. I was always a big guy, despite of the fact that I was playing water polo for 4 years. I just recently saw my photo. Somebody posted our team, and boy, I stand out. I'm the guy who is giant, despite of the fact that I exercised a lot. During university, heavy drinking, partying, as young people do, plus having later family and being the tester. I had to test my kids' foods before they eat it because, of course, you don't want to make them poisoned. And when they didn't finish the food, of course, you never waste food, so I had to eat it. I got really in trouble. That's when I got into that, around 350 pounds. I still lived in Europe, and I remember going to a doctor, and when I stood on the scale, it was 148 kilograms. After that, I never stood up on a scale again, and still gaining weight. So that 350 pounds is just my guesstimate. I did not want to know. In 2010, I moved to California with my family. I saw the new ways of living. I saw how health is very important for Californians, but also they judge you. If you are overweight, you are judged here, which, by the way, is not a cool thing. So I'm not saying that's correct. I'm just saying that in order to get a job, in order to stay longer with my family, I had to lose weight. So I went on this weight journey using one simple app called Lose It and a diet. So for over 2 years, I was not doing anything else, just counting my calories. And despite what anybody tells you, calories in, calories out works. It just works. Is it good for you? I did lose weight. I lost a lot of weight. I went from 350 pounds, again, approximately, all the way down to 215. I achieved it approximately in 2 years by restricting my diet and calculating my calories. All I was putting into myself was mostly garbage. Because it was easy, if you have packaged overprocessed food, usually there's a calorie count on the packaging. So for me, eating that was more meaningful than eating a healthy, homemade food. When I got to 250 pounds, I hit a plateau. And you're going to lose plateaus all the time, and they're normal. But that plateau was in a level where I ate 1200 calories, and my scale was not moving. It was awful. It was really awful. I was maintaining that weight for over 12 years, more or less. There was one exception when, I got in trouble again. I got all the way to 250 pounds, and then I was like, nope, I'm not doing this long weight loss again. So again, started to calculate my calories, but every time I did it, it was harder and harder. If you calorie restrict yourself, what happens is that your body reacts. Your body is not designed to lose weight. Your body is actually designed to gain weight. And boy, my body is good at that because that's natural, right? Long time ago, like 10, 20,000 years ago, we did not have access to so many calories. So calories were rare. If you could store them as fat, it was awesome. But today we made our life super easy, and we know how to create very cheap calories very fast and efficiently. It worked for me pretty okay until recently. When I got to 230 pounds, I did my usual, hey, let's cut back calories, and the scale was not moving. I stopped gaining weight, but the scale was not moving. Well, there's another dimension to the weight loss and calorie use of your body. It's your age. So older you get, the slower is your metabolism. So calorie restriction by itself was not a choice. I could not sustain it. And that's when exercise comes in place. I did try to exercise before. I restarted different things. I love hikes, so I used to hike a lot, but they take a long time. But it was never sustaining for me. I did it, started it, and I got bored of it. Anytime when people tell me that, hey, I love to exercise, I feel so great after that, I'm always like, what do you do? Like, how is that even possible? I usually feel drained, I feel tired, sore muscles, so it's not that easy. I don't know, there are maybe a few lucky ones who really love to exercise. I'm not one of them. Until recently, and that's when cycling comes in place, and that's basically the magic of cycling for me. And that's why I invite you that you should maybe try cycling. It worked for me, and you can do anything. You can do a simple short rides, you can start to commute to work, or you can go crazy like I'm going right now and do serious cycling journeys. The reason why I recommend cycling is because if you look at your calories you burn on your Apple Watch or smart device, you realize that it's one of the most efficient exercises you can do for yourself. And you do not have to even do it hard, which is the magic of it, right? So that's why I started to cycle. How did I started to cycle? It's actually a funny story. So one day I'm in front of the screen doing my chilling with YouTube, and I see this video of a young, I think German lady called Giant Cheerio. That's her channel. I don't know what her real name is, but I see her biking in Europe, the highways. There's a chain of European cycling highways called Eurovelos. I think she's riding somewhere in France, and she has these very charming videos, very positive. She shows what she does, where she gets water. Spoiler alert, it's cemeteries. She shows what she eats, and it's just very inspiring video. And I was like, I want to do that. Maybe not bikepacking. I'm too old for tents and kind of staying in the woods, but I can imagine myself riding in France, somewhere on an Eurovelo, enjoying beautiful castles, towns, and eating myself to death with baguettes and butter and cheese. And not have any consequences because, boy, you will burn those calories as you bike. So my thought was, I cannot do what she does. I'm not fit. I didn't sit on a bike since I was 8. So how about an e-bike? That would be a great thing to do in France, right? I'm telling this idea to a buddy of mine. Came to the conclusion that, hey man, why don't you just get yourself a regular bike? Maybe you can commute to work. Maybe you just bike here and there, and you get a little bit fitter, and you just go and get an e-bike if you feel like it when you go to your trip to France. I was like, well, that's not a bad idea. You know, my daughter is at college maybe in 2 years. She's still at high school. So in 2 years, my wife will be having more time, and maybe we'll do a trip like that. So I was like, that's a great goal. I have 2 years to kind of make myself fit so I can do long rides with an e-bike in France. So I got myself a cheap bike from Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to make a special video about that because that's pretty cool. That's a good way how to get your first road bike or any bike you want. And I started to bike, and it got me. A person, me, who never biked since he was 8, hopped on a bike, did few basic trips in August. And by September, I did my first 30 kilometers ride. By October, I was riding 50 kilometers. And that's insane. 50 kilometers. That's a lot in 3 months. So one thing about biking is that it will compound very fast. Compounding is a magical word when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your skills. Because if you show up just a little bit, little by little, it will work. I never thought I would be able to bike 50 kilometers. That was my goal, because when I looked at the map, I realized that, well, if I can bike 50 kilometers in France, that's a great distance to cover a lot in one day. I can have maybe lunch somewhere, I can see some sightseeing, and I can go from town to town. 50 kilometers is a good distance to cover with an e-bike. I did not know that if I show up, even a little bit, like I bike like twice a week maybe, I will be able to ride the 50 kilometers on a regular bike, pretty comfy way in 3 months. Again, I'm not fit. I did not sit on a bike since I was 8. So you can do it too. It's not that hard. And you can see that there's a whole community of people online who are doing that. They are chubby or they are not fit, but they hop on a bike and do magic. Do not ask me to run or lift. I'll be dead in seconds. But on a bike, I by now can do pretty cool things. Today it's Monday, May 27th, 2024. And yesterday I just had my Gran Fondo, your first expression, like a long trip. And it was 115 kilometers or something like that. I forgot, maybe 116. But with a almost 1500 meters elevation. And that's insane. The fact that I could do that, it's ridiculous. This is what I want to do with this channel. I want to help you to achieve the same, to not be intimidated by these awesome looking gals and boys on Instagram who are riding like insane on their road bikes, but be like me who rides for fun. And yes, we ride for speed too because it's a damn road bike, so it's kind of fun to drive fast or ride fast, but maybe not like people in Tour de France, but maybe on our level fast. I'll try to give you tips how to tackle scary things like hills, what kind of nutrition you should eat. Try to show you what gear I use. This hobby can be anything. It can be very cheap, entry level, but you can go crazy, and boy, things cost a lot of money. Don't be intimidated by that. There are ways how you can buy cheaper gear. There are ways how to save some money. As any hobby, it will cost you most likely a little bit, but you don't have to go crazy. But you can if you want to. But most importantly, I want to be your cycling buddy. I want you to see you on Strava. I want you to see you on my social media. I want to see your social media. So make sure that we connect and we chat. I need people like you to be motivated, and maybe you need me to be motivated. And as I mentioned, I do plan to have fun contests where you can win prizes like coffee. I work in a coffee industry and I have access to these incredible coffees, and I want to share them with you. So I was thinking maybe do contests on my social media as I'm building them up, so you can the typical follow, like, whatever, right? Just making sure that, we see some people. Maybe later we can do some other contest like on Strava, or we can do something like Easter egg hunt when I hide something somewhere. Maybe some of you can help me. And once people find it, I'll send you coffee. I hope that coffee will also help you to be pumped for this channel and being pumped to change your life and live healthier. So this is me, Valerian, and okay, come and be my cycling buddy. All right, guys, see you on the end.